We edit this out.
I will.
Thank God.
This is Trendkill Radio, a rock news show about all things rock except for when it's not. Brought to you by the Taco Bell Volcano Menu and
Ocean Gate.
Yes.
Remember, kids, it was about
2023.
this size. Brought to you by Logitech submarine controllers. Wait, that's not a thing.
So last segment we talked about our most despised musicians that we know and gave our reasons why. And yeah, that was a little bit negative, but hilarious. In this segment, we're gonna be positive like we usually are, and we're gonna talk about our favorite encounters / concerts that we've ever been to. Top 1. We're not doing top 5s because we have 6 of us. All right, well, you know what? I'm not starting this one, so let's just.
You want to go reverse order this time?
Coley, take it.
That's what she said.
You get pegged every once in a while. Who doesn't?
And he's in there and he literally goes, "Do you feel that?" And I was like, "Show me the guy that said no."
My favorite concert I ever went to. Okay. Best lineup of all time. Project Revolution Tour.
I fucking knew it.
2007.
I was there.
Oh man, I was there too. I was there with my mom.
Well, I was gonna go with your mom, but she put me out for you. Sorry.
And he's his own grandpa.
You met my mom.
I know. I said sorry.
Sue is a lovely lady.
She is a lovely woman.
Sue is an angel.
Lineup on that, of course, Linkin Park headlining. My Chemical Romance, Taking Back Sunday, Him, Placebo.
Sunday was so fucking lame.
Julian K, Mindless Self-Indulgence, Medina Lake, and Styles of Beyond, which that turned into a Fort Minor set, and it was awesome.
Mindless Self-Indulgence was awkward because they threw
condoms and everything else. Yeah,
condoms out into the audience, and I'm like there with my mom, and I'm a teenager. I'm like,
what are those? No,
I would.
It's weird. You just stare at the stage and you don't even talk to each other.
No eye contact.
I don't remember what the ticket, like the admission was. I venture to say probably like $60 or $70.
Yeah,
probably $35.
That's a lot. That's a
It was
lot for
$35.
$70
No
even.
fees.
Yeah, but I would pay today every dollar I have. Yeah, that's a $10,000
so
ticket for me.
$65.
Yeah. Best show I ever went to. I would pay anything to go to it again. And it's interesting to me to be able to say that, like, yeah, I saw all of those bands in their prime on the same day at the same place.
Yeah, that's
and like that's really cool. I know it was sold out, so 100,000 other people can say that, but nobody ever talks about it. It's really weird. So I don't know. I bring it up all the time.
I was there. No, you know what? That's also kind of cool because like we were both there, living in the same city, but we didn't know each other, and then we can kind of talk about these.
I was there too.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention to what you said.
But yeah, that's mine for sure.
I met the singer from Placebo. He was out trying to get some Strange, and
Shocker.
I went. You're the guy from Placebo, and he went.
With the face.
What?
Yeah.
I'm like, the band. He's like, no, I'm not.
That also doesn't surprise
Like,
me.
he was just being a kind of jerk, but like in hindsight, I get it. He was just trying to get some sale.
Trying to get some.
Yeah, so he doesn't want to talk to a fucking 18, 19-year-old kid.
I didn't meet anybody there. I was there with a girl that I was dating at the time. It was her first ever like rock show.
What was her name?
Angelica. And it was her first like rock concert. Like we'd gone to see CKY or whatever before, but like nothing of that scale. And we had great seats. We were in the like right behind the pit and the seats. It was cool. So, and I got my, you know how they do the thing where you can text or whatever, and they'll put your little message up there. I sent it.
Will you marry me, Angelica?
No, I wasn't. No, I was like, I think I said Coley loves jelly because I called her Jelly.
Gay.
Hey, that was my
that was
cousin's
pretty
nickname.
fucking close to what I actually
my
said.
cousin's name is Angelica, and her nickname was Jelly.
Me.
But yeah, that's about it. That's all I got on that.
All right.
The rest of the story is he prematurely pulled the trigger on using the L word and got dumped immediately after the concert. Favorite show I ever went to and artist interaction all intertwined into one thing. It was my junior year of high school. The self-titled Slipknot album had just come out. It was the angriest thing I'd ever heard.
I was still in grade school.
Immediately. And
You old
fucking
fuck.
old.
You old fuck.
That's why my new band is called Old As Fuck. My best friend Josh, he was basically like my family's
Drake.
version of Hyde from that 70s show. He like lived with us through high school. We went to Toronto on spring break. this is the year that the self-titled Slipknot album had just come out, and we are pulling down the main strip of Toronto to go to our hotel, and we just see this line of kids wrapped around the block of this record store that I always made it a point to go to when I was there. And I start seeing like jumpsuits and masks, and I'm like, what the fuck? We go check into the hotel, we come back out, this line of kids is still there like an hour later, and I walk up to see what's going on, and they're like, Slipknot's here doing a meet and greet. We're like, holy shit. So, beg our parents, hey, can we stay here with these guys and, like, get in line and meet Slipknot? Please, please, please.
Can we, Daddy? You bet.
Hooray!
They're like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So they leave us there. We end up getting in line, and their bouncer dude was just, like, massive fucking, dude had me pushing 7 feet tall, and I'm not even kidding. Had a giant, like, platinum chain around his neck with the tribal S, the original, like, Slipknot logo on it. And Josh starts kissing this dude's ass, like, talking
Oh, I
to
thought
him
he was
about
kissing
his
him. I was like... oh.
Starts kissing this guy's ass.
Leaving out.
And the dude's like, you guys don't sound Canadian or whatever. And we're like, no, we're here from Cleveland. Unbeknownst to us, this is right at the peak of the Mushroomhead Slipknot beef. So he goes and tells the guys in Slipknot that there are 2 dudes from Cleveland at this meet and greet thing. We still have no clue what the fuck is going on. Walks away, comes back. He's like, you. And then Joey Jordison and Mick Thompson stand up like, come here. We're like...
Is Mick a huge dude like I
he's
thought?
He's as tall as I am sitting down.
He's a big...
a fucking monster. They tell us to come up to the table. They, like, usher us back behind their autograph table they're sitting at, and, like, we just stand there while they're doing their thing. They're, like, drawing on us and being all goofy and shit. We're, like, talking to, like, all the original guys, like Paul Gray when he was still alive, Joey, everybody. And we're taking pictures with, like, one of those Kodak disposable cameras and shit, and I still have these in a box.
Nice.
Like, locked the fuck away so that nothing ever happens to them. We ended up hanging out with them afterwards for a little bit. They were like, are you guys going to the show tomorrow night? We're like, dude, we came here for spring break. We had no clue you guys were even going to be here. They're like, you're coming to the show now.
Carmen here, celebrating spring break in Langley Falls.
So it was our first concert that we ever got to go to together, like, ever. It was Kitty, Dope, and Slipknot.
Oh, nice.
Wow. At this venue called The Warehouse on the riverfront in Toronto. We got backstage passes, the whole 9 yards, everything. So I'm in a foreign country that I've never been to before, and I'm going
Canada.
to see... but still, I'm 16.
It's not that far.
I'm 16. There's different rules.
It's America Junior.
Canada.
Luckily, we had all the... Yeah, thanks for the smoke, fuckers. Air quality alerts every morning on my phone. I got to meet all the girls from Kitty, Dope. It was insane. It was probably the coolest thing in my life.
Sweet.
That is sweet.
Did you also have a really nice experience meeting Edsel? Because he is probably one of the nicest people I've ever met
He
in
was
my life.
so fucking nice.
Okay.
The key moment of the story, though, is like I had a high school crush on Talina Atfield, the bass player from Kitty.
Fair.
And I met her. And
Wait,
I
that
just-
manly-looking girl with the red hair?
No.
That was a
the bass
guitarist.
player.
Oh, her, yeah.
I was going to say same.
Yeah, no, she's
Okay,
cute.
okay.
No, she's cute. I got to meet her, and I just turned into a fucking blubbering dick shit. Like, just,
And it never stopped.
So what I wanted to do, it's a little bit different. It's not actually a rock star, but I got to meet a recording engineer, Sylvia Massey. She worked with Tool.
Yeah.
She worked with System of a Down. Shut the fuck up.
Coley, your turn.
I know who she is.
Okay.
Yeah,
She does a bunch of crazy field recording stuff. She worked with System of a Down. She worked
Yeah,
with
you have
Tool.
a picture with her that
Yeah.
was on. Yeah.
Yeah, she was
Can we
Prince's
share it?
engineer for a while. Sweetwater does this thing called Gear Fest, where they have a bunch of clinics with different musicians, different recording engineers, things like that. And she had a private session, where she brought in only 20 people to a room, and she got a chance to show us from her private archives an unreleased instrumental that Prince composed for Kate Bush.
This your Bush?
And it was really cool. This is something that Prince never got to release, Kate Bush never used, but she had the original tracks and she played, and it sounded pretty much what you would sound a Prince song composed for Kate Bush would sound like. But it
Did
was
you guys
really
get
cool.
to
Sexual.
mess around with the tracks at all, or was it a mixing session or like a tutorial?
Yeah, she just played the track. She
that
she
is
played
so
the track from her R5s, but even still, she was just going into the history of
That's
all the stuff
awesome.
she did with Prince, because she did so much stuff, and basically she had to make a decision in her career where she was I think it was for the Tool album. She basically really wanted to do the Tool album, but she basically had to burn Prince, and this was an opportunity for her to get more into just different stuff she wanted to. And when she burned that bridge with Prince was just like, "You're done. Fuck you. You don't burn Prince.
Nope.
You don't
He's
go
a
back."
cocky little asshole.
Yeah.
He really was.
Yeah, especially I think
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to
Pancakes.
women too, he kind of
Go
was a little
cleanse
bit of
yourself
a
in the waters of Lake
misogynist.
Minnetonka.
despite being very feminine.
Right.
The ego.
The only person that I've found that he actually can't talk shit to Prince because he trusts him enough is his front of house engineer, because he knows he can't fuck his front of house engineer.
Yeah, you know. That's like fucking with the people that handle your food. Don't do it.
He can fucking belittle anybody else in his crew, but he does not disrespect his front of house engineer.
Let me ask you, I have a follow-up question. Did you have a brain boner when she was talking to you?
Yes.
Yeah, I bet you did.
It kind of sounded like you did.
I've never seen you
my head
perk
right
up
now.
that much on this show.
Full erection.
Why, you telling me I gotta drag this friggin' thing across the lawn? Call the neighbors. I want them to see this.
I do like that, though.
That was good.
I gotta go a little bit of a different direction too, because I want to
Jesus
talk about.
Christ! Stay on.
No.
Stay on the path, you guys.
You guys will understand
No,
when I talk
you're
about
not even our real dad.
Peabody's in Cleveland, Ohio.
Peabody's,
Yeah.
woo!
Peabody's.
I know.
R.I.P.
So I am super old. So I had a ton of really awesome shows at the Peabody's when it was on the West Bank
The
of the Flats
Peabody's.
too. Before it moved down by Cleveland
I
State by
never got to
Rascal
go to
House.
one in the flats.
My
I'm
mom
so
did.
sad
My mom
about it.
did. My mom used to tell me all kinds of stories about it.
Lucky you.
So many good shows at that Peabody's too. So many good ska bands would come
Oddly enough, the
through.
bathroom's still flooded
Like-
in both locations.
Like when I was in high school and being able to go there with friends and see like Pie Tasters and Buck O'Nine and Real Big Fish and all these great punk and ska bands that would come through. And then when it moved down to, downtown
21st.
by Rascal House, Cleveland State, I saw so many shows there too. Like countless. I can't even begin
I
to.
think it's pretty safe to say that all 6 of us basically kind of lived there like a second home almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, even me, and I'm not from here.
And just the memories from all of the experiences at those venues, like both
Mine was
Peabody's
a high five.
venues, are just like things that were like just untouchable. It was like magical. You're younger and you're seeing all these awesome shows and all these bands that are like in their prime, coming through, and like there was nothing like it at the time.
I really don't
And
think any of
there's
us would be
anything-
the same if it wasn't for that place.
No.
Oh, so you're not actually talking about a specific band?
No, she went real broad with it. I like that.
I like that too.
No, honestly, I feel
I feel
bad
like
that
we
none of
all-
us even thought of that.
Because I feel like
Yeah.
all of us, we all have a
We all
genuine
have
home or
memories.
had a genuine home
Yeah.
at
I mean,
Peabody's.
dude, Zitterbart made us all just feel like family at that place.
Yeah.
Like,
and
the
he
man
still
is-
does. He's still
he
doing
still
that
does.
with. He's
I
still
got to-
doing it with the Agora now. Like
Yeah.
I feel like
Every
every time
awesome
I go in there,
show
we're
I've
still
ever played
family.
is because of that guy.
I got to party with Unwritten Law on their tour bus till like 4 a.m. once because of playing at Peabody's.
Zitterbart let
I'm literally here in Cleveland because of Peabody's. Like I moved from Youngstown to
Not because of
Cleveland.
me or anything.
Now, I have a question. I have a
Okay,
question.
yes.
Peabody's that was already
okay.
shut down.
Fuck you, Sean. It's all about
No,
Peabody.
Peabody's wasn't shut down yet when I moved. It got shut down the year. They shut it down the year after. But like I literally made a home here in Cleveland before I ever even moved here because of Peabody's.
Fair enough. Now, I have a follow-up question for you, Libby. Per the last segment,
Why are you gay?
What are you gay? No.
It's only gay for
does
me.
it-
Shut up.
You're gay for moment.
Does it change anything about your Peabody stuff knowing that Kid Rock played there?
No,
Good.
it
Okay.
does not.
Good.
a lot of shitbags played there.
Because
but
sure, a lot of shitbags played
Listen,
there.
the place might have been a shithole, but it was our shithole. And if those walls could have talked, I still have my
Oh,
brick.
my God.
The last night Peabody's was there.
Approximately 10 hours later.
We were just beating the fucking shit out of the walls. We were taking sledgehammers to the fucking brick pillars.
Time is almost up.
I was working there at that time, and
Yeah, you opened up for Uncle Kracker.
I did, yeah. But that whole
became him.
that whole last week of shows were booked like in advance, and a lot of them were not great shows. Like I think what the hell?
Head PE
Head
played.
PE. We
Fireworks.
Trap House played the Head PE show,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like we just did it to play one last show there, and
I was
like
at that show.
that whole last week of shows was just packed out, and
Attila fucking-
all the bands were like, "Wow, look at what we did." It's like,
Yeah.
no, you didn't
No.
do it. All right,
All right, Candy, you're up.
excellent contribution. Liv.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right,
Really,
well-
thank you. That was awesome.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm also going to be the bearer of bad news here and say I'm going in a little bit different of a route because I am not going with one performer or one show that I've been to, but rather a festival that
Talk about the gangbang.
that kind of changed my outlook on music in general. 2011, I went to Rockapalooza with an ex-boyfriend, and it was in Detroit, Michigan. or near Detroit, Michigan. And I had never been to anything like that before. I pretty much went for a handful of bands. There were, it was Mushroomhead, Ventana was playing.
I remember that.
Motograter was playing, and those were pretty much the people that I went to see because I had never seen Motograter. It was their first time back together with everybody except for their singer because
they didn't have Ivan then, right?
No, they didn't have Ivan. They had Ivan was their singer was Angel at the time, and so that's really who I went to see was Motograter because I'd never seen them. And I got to see a bunch of bands that I honestly would have never, ever wanted to see in my entire life. And I fell in love with an entire new genre of music. I got to see Chiodos, A Day to Remember.
Sick.
And there was a third one I had in my brain earlier that I just fucking forgot about. But I got to see like these metalcore, these post-hardcore bands that I made fun of for fucking years because I'm like, oh, they're just a bunch of whiny bitches. And I hated that whole genre of music until I actually got to see some of these people live. And I know, granted, it was A Day to Remember with Austin Carlisle, but his fucking voice, You mean
of Mice and Men?
Or of Mice and Men. That was
Attack.
It was of Mice and Men. Because that was the third band that I was thinking of that I couldn't think of at the time.
There you go.
But yeah, those are the three bands that I really saw that day that like I got to see them in their prime, and not even in their prime, I guess, but like in
their infancy, some of those bands.
Yeah. And
then Mushroomhead being like 45 years old.
But you know what? I also did get to hang out with Motograter that day, and I got to meet everybody in Motograter, and I got to be friends with everybody in Motograter, the original members with the exception of Ivan.
That's sweet.
And that was actually pretty dope too. But that whole thing aside, I got what really opened my eyes to a whole different genre of music was a festival in fucking Michigan of all places. I hate Michigan or hated Michigan, hated everything about it. But getting
How do you hate Michigan, Candy?
Their roads suck.
It's just one
true.
Their fucking roads suck, and it was just like people make fun of Ohio for being cornfields, but like Michigan was literally just potholes and just desecrate waste or desecrate waste.
Hell,
Flint,
Detroit, all of it bad.
Yeah, it was
Michigan left turn is literally a U-turn.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's literally that bad.
No, you can't turn left there. You can only.
No,
go right.
yeah, you can only
Just like New Jersey's the same way too. Fuck that state as well.
But yeah, I will say that was probably my highlight was. I mean, I've met some famous people, and I have had some really good interactions with with different artists and stuff like that have really impacted me, but I feel like nothing's really impacted me quite like that did. So it's kind of a toss up between that and actually meeting Edsel Dope. I know you talked about Dope earlier, which you might want to, people might hate me for saying I met Edsel Dope and like that was a highlight for me, but honestly, I literally just shot the shit with him for 20 minutes straight in Kent, Ohio, where I was getting hit on. At the Outpost. I was getting hit on by a bunch of fucking creepers, and you know what he did the entire time? He protected me from these fucking creepers without expecting anything. So to me, like I was a 23-year-old woman at the time, that was a huge fucking deal. So shout out to fucking Edsel Dope for just being a genuine good guy.
Side note real quick, just because you brought up the Outpost, I will say that one encounter that I thought was actually pretty awesome is that I saw Real Friends play the Outpost, and there were 3 of us there that weren't band members.
I remember when you went to that show and you came back with like a cassette or something.
Yeah,
you're like you gotta listen to this, and I hated it.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, I remember you being really stoked about that, and then watching them get big, and that was that. Yeah, I remember.
Damn.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll touch on a Peabody's one too real quick. Fall Out Boy in the Pirates Cove. Opening up for the early November. That was pretty badass.
Yeah, so shout outs to smaller venues. Because I mean,
we love our small venues.
I've been to the Outpost maybe
especially
like a handful
Foundry.
The Foundry is my heart, is my literally my home away from home. But the Outpost was kind of like living in Youngstown. That was my halfway house between Youngstown and
Fair enough.
Peabody's is the worst halfway house you could have had.
I said the Outpost was my halfway house.
Okay, so all right, we have come to the conclusion here, and I think
the big finish.
Dad's getting ready to weigh in, kids.
Oh, I'm gonna finish all over.
I hope everybody heard that, Bert.
I didn't. I heard it and I smelled it a little.
I do apologize. I was going to ask you if you smelled it a little bit because I did project. So I'm sorry.
That's disgusting.
New fetish unlocked.
It was actually just her burping while he let off a volcano and you farted at the same time.
I can taste it on my tongue.
Onions and ketchup.
Yeah.
Now let's see a little fucked up.
Mine will have to be, all right, and this is a two-parter, Scott Weiland. Hands down, Scott Weiland. We went and saw him. He wasn't in Stone Temple Pilots anymore. He was clearly out of Velvet
Scott
Revolver.
Weiland in the Wildabouts.
Was
yes,
this at the ballroom?
We went to the Agora, and
one of our first dates.
I parked on the street rather
This was
than
like the week before he died, right? That show at the ballroom.
2 weeks before he died.
Damn.
So I was walking by and I had my skeleton jacket from Nasty I was wearing, and some roadie was like, "Oh, hey man, cool jacket," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, thank you." And I looked over and like he's standing right next to Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots. I'm like, I'm like,
I froze like a deer in the headlights.
Scott, like, can we get a picture? And he went like, and I'm like, how about a handshake? And he goes, yeah, man, come on over. And so I shook his hand and I was like, hey, I'm Sean Ryan. Very nice to meet you. Candy's behind me like a deer in the fucking headlights.
Okay, where's Moron? Okay, Moron's here. Here.
And like I had to physically like grab her and just
I don't
go,
get
this
starstruck
is my,
easy.
this is my girlfriend. Like, Candy.
I was literally a
And
deer in the headlights.
He was just, it was a very brief encounter, but finding out that he had passed away 2 weeks later was absolutely wild, because I grew up on Stone Temple Pilots. I mean, obviously they were played on WMMS all the time.
I heard the first time I heard
Big
a song
Empty.
Big Empty, yeah,
Big Empty.
from the Crow soundtrack trailer.
Such a phenomenal band, such a tortured artist. He was very, very nice, and I'm glad to have
and he
that
actually
memory.
did put on a really good performance that night. Like he was
He
on key. He was on
Zinnerbart
key.
Still talks about that performance to this day.
Yeah, because he was actually on key, which was a thing that we were hearing a lot about him just being completely wasted on stage at the time. And like when we saw him that night, he was
he was on
there.
key, yeah, but I mean, like I think he was on ecstasy because
Oh yeah, he was definitely on something.
he moved like I think he thought he was faster moving than he actually was.
That is true.
Like it looked like he was in slow motion, and I'm like, what the fuck? That, and just for a brief mention, Shifty Shell Shock from Crazy Town. That was sick, dude. No, I don't fucking care.
That was sick.
Shifty was fucking cool
You
as
were
hell,
there.
and he took pictures with me, and he gave me a shirt like right out of the back
And
of his.
he was
Did
just
he take your hat?
No, he tried.
he
He tried to
wanted-
buy
Your hat. That's right.
No, it's mine.
Well, I was wearing the hat. He tried to buy it like
For $100,
like 5 times.
And I was like, you know what? I'd rather have the story.
What
Which
hat
hat
was
was
it?
it?
Yeah.
It's the one that says horror in green.
Okay.
But you know what? Honestly, like I actually got to chit chat with him for a second too. Like I know he got a shirt out of it, which is like whatever.
It had fucking cigarette burns from when he told me he rolled over in his SUV like 3 times.
And you got a
So it's
boyfriend
got
out of it,
burn
so it's
holes
fine.
in it from when he's like smoking.
But you know what? I will
So
say
you're wearing a shirt that
he wore
quite
that.
literally has the DNA of Shifty Shell Shock.
He
Yes.
wore that thing.
Yes.
No, he literally wore that thing for like a month straight. He was so
Very comfortable shirt.
If Sean somehow becomes addicted to methamphetamines now, we know why. It's because the DNA
It bled through into my system.
But I
yeah.
will say, honestly, he was one of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. Like he
And
was.
then he-
Bad luck.
So
Okay, yeah, we had a technical hiccup. So Libby just wanted to say something before we close out.
Hard drive.
I just want to piggyback and say I saw Stone Temple Pilots in 2008 at Think State Theater, and that was probably one of the best shows I've ever seen. He was insane. He was one of the best performers. It was just
He's the best frontman.
Oh my god!
Oh, yeah, he's a great.
And he
Great
looked a
frontman.
little bit like Skeletor at the time. Like I was a little concerned about his well-being because I was like looking up there and I'm like, oh god, he looks for. Anyway, that was one of the best shows I think I've ever seen.
He was just so incredible.
sorry.
I've seen Scott sober several times, and I mean the
Still same?
fucking energy.
Oh, I bet.
But sober or sober-ish.
Ish. Well,
no, I've seen him when he's on court ordered sober,
Oh.
and then I've,
So, yeah.
and then I've seen him when he's been kind of fucked up too, and I mean, still such an amazing performance. All right. Shut up. That is the end of this summer spectacular. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to send nudes at.
That was Trap House Rave. I thought that was Trap House Rave.
To Coley Colgate or
No, don't do
Trinkle Radio 216
He's
on
got a girlfriend
Instagram.
now. And I really like that.
Make sure you like, hit subscribe, and then hit the notification bell so you know when these shows come out, because we don't, man. So thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, I'm Sean Ryan.
I'm Candy.
I'm Coley.
I'm KJ.
I'm Jimothy.
And I'm B.
And this has been Trend Kill Radio.
We talk about how Coley, like people with IBS, when they're bloated, their stomachs are like rock hard. And I was like, so does that mean when I get a boner, my dick's bloated?
Does your dick have IBS?
Inoperable boner syndrome. Yes, after a few whiskeys.
You just hang it over your wrist like a wristwatch.
That's why he's always looking at his
That's why I
wrist.
was doing this earlier.
Boner time.
See, that's the trait of a true comedian, bringing it back. It's so hard to do.
Can we do that one more time on camera so we can use it for the outtakes?
I deserve that.
All right, so on to our second segment. This is probably going to be the second episode, because the first one apparently lasted about 38 minutes.
That's a record for every man in this room. Let's go, boys!
I know, I'm a 38-second kind of guy.
What the fuck?
So sorry, Candy.
First, get the champ a Gatorade.
You married him.
She will when she meets him.
That was a good burn. I wish I would have thought of that. I wish I would have
And on
got that.
that note, thanks everyone for joining us.
Brought to you by Mad Cats.
Mad Cat. That's
the old N64! Oh, shit! Oh, we've seen that before. Would you stop that?
No, I'm
All right,
a mom.
go ahead.
You were talking earlier about static. I swear I'm getting some static.
It's
in my head
KJ.
right now.
It's his fucking
You're the
voice.
one sitting right next to me.
No, that's KJ's laugh. That's ridiculous,
That's
KJ.
30. Math.
You can count. If you want to start, yeah.
You want to try the back door?
Not after all that Taco Bell.
Fucking Mount St. Holy shit.
It burns so good.
Yeah. Let's,
Candy and Lib, or Candy and B, whatever the fuck she wants to be called.
Whatever. I don't know. It changes all the time.
I don't even know who the fuck I am.
let's go reverse order. I'll go first.
It's wrong, but it feels so right. Like titty fucking your first cousin.
Nope.
Get him. No, I got it for mine. You get him.